And well, it's another Sunday night, and we're here to talk about another House of the Dragon episode. This one titled "DRIFTMARK." I would wonder why they called this episode "DRIFTMARK," but after watching tonight, the answer is obvious. The majority of the episode takes place on Driftmark. So
Yeah.
there we go. So welcome everybody to the chat. I identify today as Nerdless Valerian, but my regular name is Nerporeal Lifeform. So just saying that if you want to call me anything, you got to call me Nerdless Valerian because I'll get triggered if you don't. So,
Nerdless
but
Valerian.
hail. And wanting to say hi to the chat before we get started. So we got Shane Nolan here. We got Dempsey. We got this horse guy named Pips. I don't know who that is. Of course, we know who that is. He was in the Rings of Power episode last week. We got Zombie Main, Ethan Hart. I don't know if I've seen you before, but if this is the first time, welcome. We got Jake D, one of my mods, and we got did I say Dempsey? Yeah, I said Dempsey already. And we got Nerdscape. What's up, Nerdscape?
Hey.
Another fellow nerd. So, well. So I want to say hi to, and we missed you last week, Salty. How you doing?
Yeah. Well, the reports of my death were greatly exaggerated, but I was fighting the same thing Steve was. That didn't seem to want to go anywhere. And it didn't help that I thought last week's episode of the House of Dragon destroyed my soul. So I reluctantly watched this episode, and it's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. You know?
So I was just curious, what were your thoughts on last week's episode? Since you said
I hated it.
Soul?
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. They broke my suspension of disbelief with the recasting of the characters. I didn't like the pacing. I didn't like the messaging. I didn't like the inconsistencies of Viserys. I hated the underuse of Daemon. It felt like just one of those crammed in there, oh, by the way, we had to jump years things. And I really did not like the new actresses for the queen and for the princess at all, and or the messaging. This week, I don't know what they did, but I got back on track. Just gonna say that. So
didn't it remind you of like early season 1 Game of Thrones, like especially with what ultimately happens?
It had animus. It had these characters suddenly felt incredibly familiar, and it was something that was entirely missing last week. It was jarringly so. But this week, I was from the very moment. I think the plot got a little janky toward the end, but it was a great buildup. I really liked it. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. And what about you, Pips? What do you think of tonight's episode?
I think I'm Team Salty on this one. I think that he pretty much said mostly what I would be saying as well. I won't say necessarily like a return to form, but I think it kind of felt like that. Last week was definitely, I think, a low point in the season so far for me. And this week, I guess the easiest way for me to say it is last week, I feel like a couple of times I checked my watch going like, man, like when is this thing going to end? And this week, I think at least once or twice, I checked my watch saying, man, I hope I have at least like another 20 minutes of this. I hope this isn't over yet.
You're not wrong.
It was just the emotional response to it was night and day in terms of the appreciation of what I was seeing. And I'll save the rest of it as we get into it, I guess.
Okay.
Pips, I think the chemistry between the recast Rhaenyra and Matt Smith was something that maybe they deliberately kept out of last week, but my God, this week, oh my God, it was sick. It was great.
We saw that in the trailer. I mean, we saw that very scene in the trailer. So we finally got it. And yeah, I agree.
So I felt like the chemistry was there at the wedding towards the end, and a couple other little glimmers. There were a few times though where I still think she felt kind of wooden. Generally speaking, I think the chemistry between actor and actress, the first actress playing Rhaenyra, I think still had better chemistry with Matt Smith. But we got to see her for 5 episodes, right? So the question is whether or not, like you said, it was really missing last episode. This episode was better. So obviously as the cast works longer together with each other. Hopefully we can see that continue to build. Within the episode, we saw it build. So I'm at least optimistic on the chemistry aspect. I'm still 100% on board with what you said. I generally didn't like the recasting for. I don't honestly think that there was a single character that was recast that I thought was improved. I'll say I really was not a big fan of Lenor, and I'm glad that he is not going to be around as much. So
yeah, we should all toast to Raynar. We'll just say that.
Sorry, someone was knocking. So yeah, I like the episode too. There was there were issues that I do have that I do want to bring up when we go through when we get into the breakdown. A lot happened, and there was just a particular event that once again made me think of season 1 of Game of Thrones. Just the way the situation happened. Now, it wasn't exactly the same situation, but kids being rambunctious and everything, and then getting in trouble, like he did, the one side of the family get in trouble with the other side of the family, and then having to bring like the king and everyone and every major leader of the realm involved in this. It just gets really ridiculous. It just got really ridiculous there. But one thing I did love.
You're saying that was something you didn't like, was that scene with kind of everybody in the hall and Driftmark?
No, I actually liked the scene. It was just what led up. It's just what led up to it that just felt very convenient, and we'll get into that. So
okay.
I did like I liked the music was pretty much the same. I haven't really noticed a lot of the music, any difference in the music this week. Cinematography though I did really like, especially on the dragon, because it made it. I always thought to myself, what would it be like to ride a dragon? Like imagine riding a horse, but just you're riding a dragon. It's like being on a roller coaster, but without the the bar to hold you on. It's just like it would freak me the hell out. And I just liked seeing it from his point of view, like from Aemon's point of view. So Aemon was pretty much let's say Aemon changed pretty much in this episode. Like he was bullied in the last episode, and this episode he took his, I think he took his, I don't know if it was his mother's advice last week. I didn't rewatch the episode. That just tells you how I like House of the Dragon, but I don't like it that much. I don't like as much as when I watch Game of Thrones. I didn't like as much as Game of Thrones when it was good, or Better Call Saul, or other shows. I just watch it once. I'm just like
pretty much.
Yeah, it's better. It's way better than Rings of Power. I can't even stand to try to watch Rings of Power without. Oh, you quit?
Salty.
You're
on team No More Hate Watch. I love it.
Well, it's I had an epiphany, and I won't derail the show, but essentially I came to this realization of I was being used by these shows for the objectives that they want, which is to get us to talk about the race and gender and all this other issues. And something like the Rings of Power it's absolutely inexplicable how bad the show is. So if that's the case, it's time to exit stage right and not even talk about it. And I have no regrets at all. None.
Oh yeah.
Not missing anything.
It feels good. It feels good when you cut it out.
Yeah.
It's like removing a tumor, it's just they've been living rent free in the back of your sort of brain stem for a while, and it's good to just
Yep. I did that with Doctor Who. I walked out on Capaldi and never came back. Never regretted it. So,
you left a power vacuum there, because now Steve and Nathan and myself and Lady Balefire are now we're doing the stream. But I think Steve's on the verge of stopping too. I don't know. Well, I'll find out next week.
Steve seems like he's on the fence.
Close. Yeah. There are a lot of very large YouTube channels that are trying to cover this, and their views have crashed. And not because they don't do a good job. I think because people don't care.
Yep.
And I have never seen empathy and not empathy, ambivalence. It's worse than ambivalence. It's like excommunicating the show from our nerd reality. And I think collectively we should be applauded for that. It has driven me back into playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's driven me back into watching the Jackson movies, into reading books.
Yeah.
And it's freeing. It's freeing because it's not that I quit fighting this war, it's just that I picked a different war to fight, you know? So, yeah.
I just have to ask: is it true? Is it true, Salty? Have you been replaced by a pod person?
Well, at 7:00 tomorrow morning, I have to be on a work call with a lot of pod people, but they haven't got me yet. But Dempsey, it's not that I don't have hate and criticisms of valid entertainment, but when a show is not entertainment, The Rings of Power is not entertainment. It's not.
I feel like
it's not,
based on what I saw, based on what you see people kind of responding to, the hype or engagement that you're kind of talking about, Rings of Power is dead. It just doesn't know it yet. Like
it was dead before it started.
Yeah, it's the chicken with no head, and it's still kicking around. And so at a certain point, it's just a waste of everybody's energy to keep on sitting there and kicking it. Like just but we'll see.
$1 billion was spent to craft the false narrative that this is Middle Earth. And to me, I'm going to go way out there, but I'm going to say that I think the Rings of Power was a psyop to see if people would go along with something that very clearly didn't exist, wasn't Galadriel, and they failed. They utterly failed. No one is talking about this. No normie gives a shit about this show, So, I'm going to put my energies elsewhere, and I'm really happy about that. It was the same thing with Doctor Who too, and it sucked because I want more Tolkien, I want more Doctor Who, I want more Star Trek, I want more Star Wars, I want more good Marvel. We're not going to get it. We're not.
Yeah,
it's not for a couple more years. It's we're maybe on the ebb of a cycle, but it's gonna take a while.
I think a lot of terrible things have to happen.
Yeah, you have to get rid of a lot. You gotta get rid of a lot of people.
A lot of things we can't talk about on YouTube. A lot of things
fail in this direction. So
and it's not just Hollywood. We'll just say that. But
I mean, like it's like nothing is safe, and like the way I feel when I hear a new announcement about like, oh, we're gonna adapt this franchise next, I'm just like, no.
Time Bandits. No. That's when I lost it. Oh,
no,
I started screaming. I picked up my very expensive laptop and literally had it raised over my head, and I said, "What are you doing?"
What are they gonna do in there? Are they gonna insult John Cleese? Because where John Cleese stands on
I do
all this stuff.
So. Giving it to Taika Waititi.
I will smash your mythos in a minute, baby. Is that Taika
That's
Waititi?
who's doing Time Bandits.
Okay.
That's who's doing Time Bandits.
What do you guys think about Sliders?
Well, they're making another Sliders.
It's a great show in the 90s.
They're making another Sliders.
Why?
Let me guess. It's about trans representation in gay sex.
Who's doing it? Paramount. If it's Paramount, what is it going to be? Is it going to be? Well, I don't know.
I'd have to go. I'd have to go look it up. But I will
trans.
I will say that from the trailer, right? And I forget the name of the actor, the guy who played the assistant, right? It's been a really long time since I've seen Sliders, so my apologies to people who are really big fans of it. But really good actor, played kind of the assistant role, like helping him navigate, the jumps and stuff, right? It's been replaced by a woman in that role.
Shocking.
So
I hope she's gay.
Already they're signaling, but I personally think that aspect of the character doesn't matter at all. So it could still be good. But man, we've been kicked so many times in the teeth that I just expect another one coming at this point, right?
I mean, look at Quantum Leap. I mean, Quantum Leap was about one dude. I forget his name? Was it Sam?
Sam, and then the dude that was that was the
Dean Stockwell.
Yes,
it was just those two guys. It was him going into a different timeline, different era, and he'd have to solve a problem, and then you have Dean Stockwell to help him. Now, because it's a Paramount Plus deal, they have to doing the MacGyver thing where he has to have a team of he has to have a team of snarky,
multicultural team.
I'm like, why have a team? Just have it be the one dude. I mean, I'm okay with them casting that one actor to play. Well, he's not playing Sam. He's playing a different character, but still, I mean, it's just crazy how they change things just to make it just to suit a modern.
It's ESG score hitting. It's hitting the ESG scores. I talk about it on my Tuesday show. The executives get their bonuses based on performing against ESG scores. I'm convinced the writers get paid based upon hitting ESG scores. And now we know that the United States Federal Reserve, and this is an article you can find, is now testing a digital form of ID that includes your personal ESG score. So, is this going anywhere? Like I said, not without a lot of interesting things happening. We'll just say that. So, yeah.
I apologize, or my apologies, nerdless Valerian. I feel like I contributed in derailing us in a hard right turn there. So I'm gonna.
I love it. I love it.
No, I mean, this is a conversation. I mean, this is not. I took notes, but I'm not going to go strictly by the notes tonight. I'm just going to go. We're having a conversation. So, but I mean, like we can get started. I don't know, Salty, how much longer do you got? I know you said you have to.
I can do another 10 or 15 minutes. Just because I have an early morning kickoff call because apparently we have to do these things at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
everybody else has meetings.
All right, just ping me when you need to go, and we'll get on that. So we'll stop. So, all right. So, what do you guys think of the burial? So the episode opens with the burial of Lena. So Lena got herself burned, actually, Lena in the source material, Lena gave birth to a deformed, like a completely deformed, twisted child, as the World of Ice and Fire puts it, and then. But in this case, and then she dies. In this case, she just repeats what happened to Emma Targaryen, or whatever they call her, and she just can't give birth. And they brought up the same thing, that to cut her open, and she's like, no, she'd rather just be burnt. She'd just rather be burnt dead. And I'm just like, okay. I think that's a worse. I don't know if that's. I think that's a worse way to go. Being burnt, but then again, I don't have Valyrian, so
I think it was messaging. I think it was modern day messaging about how horrible having children is, and that's what really pissed me off about that show. Was I thought some very overt insertion of narratives, and in particular that this is a woman who'd rather delete herself and her child than die.
Yeah, I mean, it was
think about that one a second, and it's like that's why I'm like, oh, just go fuck a duck, seriously.
Yeah, and the thing was, like, and I didn't bring this up last week. I was thinking about it. Why? Like, she was being supervised. Like, she's on the verge of dying, and she just walks out by herself. And like, why is Daemon like so many steps behind her? By the time he gets out, she's already being burned.
Because plot.
Because the script said so. Yeah. So that was something I didn't. I don't know if you guys brought it. I don't know, Pips, did you? I don't forget if you brought that up. I don't know if you or Steve brought that up, but I just realized that myself. So
yeah, there was kind of a conversation around that scene. I think Steve and I both had a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
I think to the point that Salty brought up there about that scene. One of the things that we talked about in episode 1 that was a missed opportunity was. Emma, right? Emma should have been the one to make the decision to get the sort of like the vivisection, sort of, get the baby out kind of thing. And
it just made, when I heard the way she reacted, I mean, I guess it's a realistic way to react, but it just was like, it just made that scene awful to me. It was just God.
Yeah. The last episode just felt like, again, like we baited you in with 5 pretty decent episodes of TV or whatever it was. And then that episode was like, surprise, we're going to pull a Wheel of Time on you. And now it's going to be, diversity and representation and trans messaging and don't have children in Westeros climate change.
Wait a second. Wait a
just
second.
like,
We
how
got
do
5
they?
good episodes of Wheel of Time. When did that happen?
No, 5 good episodes of this show. No, it was in episode 3 where the bait and switch happened, where I didn't like any of it, but I was like, in 3 it just went, because with the stuff with Logain in the cave and the characters in the wrong place, and I'm like, I give up. This show is shit, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I read the first book. I'm surprised Shader Logoth wasn't in the show, according to Steve. I'm like, really? That's like a major part of the
Wait, you
book where
read
they
you read the
split
first
up.
book?
I
When
did
did you read the first book?
I read it a long time ago. I don't remember.
Oh,
I
okay.
barely. So the thing was, I didn't get as into the. You got your. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Pips. I know you're Matt Coffin's horse and everything.
It's gonna hurt my feelings.
but
If you don't hurt, just stop now.
I-
Then you just don't need to say the mean thing.
It didn't. The first. I mean, I'll give it another shot because I like you guys. But the first book didn't really grab me as much. I mean, I read the whole thing.
It's tentative.
But it
It's
didn't grab me
tentative.
the way a Game of Thrones, the first book in Song of Ice and Fire grabbed me. I don't know what it was, but it was just, I don't know. It didn't grab me right away. But
my
heard
thoughts
book 2
are
is way better. So
I think there are some readers who really like to kind of like live in a book for a while, and they really like Robert Jordan's style of like tons of detail and like I think it's called like purple sort of
Purple
language,
prose.
right? Yeah.
Purple
so
prose. Yep.
thank you.
George is like that too, with the heavy detail. So
Yeah.
I know how it is.
So there's people who like that, and then there's people who don't like that. I think that Robert Jordan, especially in that first book and some of the other books in the series, if that's a style that isn't something that you like, not just can like tolerate, I think some people it's really difficult for them. But I can also say Eye of the World is one of those books where I think that it divides the fandom between people who have read the series once and people who have reread it. If you've reread it, Eye of the World seems like it's one of your favorite books, like top 5 generally. If you've only read the series once, Eye of the World is typically one of your least favorite books.
Fascinating. That's a good take. That's a good take.
So,
yeah, I always say that Eye of the World felt very tentative, that Robert Jordan wasn't quite sure if people were going to like what he was doing. And then in book 2, he's like, oh, you like what I'm doing? And then he just literally puts his foot on the gas for like 4 books.
You know? 2 through 6 is just a great run. One of the best series of books in all of fantasy is The Great Hunt to Lord of Chaos.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Too bad we'll never see that on screen. It certainly won't be season 2 of the Wheel of Time. Oh God.
I don't understand why they do this. Like, why adapt something if you're not going to even try to adapt it, or why say you're going to adapt something if you're not going to even try to be faithful?
It's easier to get financing.
Yeah,
easier to get financing.
Yeah.
It's
the same reason you call fascism democracy. It's the same reason you call fraud truth. It's Orwellian, dude. It's in our entertainment, it's in our culture, it's in our politics, and it's in our communications. When you control the language, you control reality. So entertainment is a component of that, you know?
Yeah, that's why like that's why I try to avoid very corporatized shows like Rings of Power and Star Wars and all the Star Treks now. It's just content. It's like everybody else says, it's just content. But let's go back to House of the Dragon. So let's go back. Let's go back to House of the Dragon. So what did you guys think of? We saw the funeral. We see that they bury House Valyrian. They just drop him right into the sea, right by the castle. And Damon snickered. He snickered during the thing.
God,
I was like, what? I'm like, what? And I don't believe that was ever brought up again. I'm like, what was that? Like, he didn't hate his wife.
No. He was talking about he was laughing, I believe. And Pips, you might have a different take. He was laughing at the fidelity of the bloodline. And he looked over at Rhaenyra with her children who didn't look like her husband. And that's what he was laughing about, dude. He's like, nah, dude. You know, so yeah, it's God, it was so good to see Damon a lot in this episode.
Yeah, that was I think specifically it was the line about like salt is in our blood and our blood cannot be allowed to be diluted, or there's some line like that in it, and he looked over at the kids and snickered, and it was good.
Okay,
it was good.
Yeah, I heart Damon. I do.
it was a return to form for him for sure. I like he was a mopey. Just last episode was weak.
Yeah. He didn't really do much. So so like we see everybody in attendance. So so like Rhaenyra's family's there, the King's family, the King and Allison, their family's there. Otto's back, so Otto is now handed the king again. So so there was no time jump in this episode. So we got the same actors that play the kids, especially Rhaenyra and Allison's children, and yeah, it was just a typical, we just got to see the ceremony. It was nice, and it was very ceremonial, and there was an interesting little conversation, a little remark. So they're also having, so at the same time of this funeral, they're having a funeral for Sir Harwin and and for the hand, Lionel Strong at Harrenhal, but they had to miss that because this one was Valerian. They're direct family, and they're Valerian, so that's why they had to go to that particular funeral. But Laris, that son of a bitch, was there. He was there, and he was just eyeing Allison the whole time, to the point where even Sir Kristen was like, "What's going on, my lady? Is there anything going on?" And she's like, "No, it's just his pride." Yeah. We find out that he was deemed, he was made Lord of Harrenhal. That sly strong. Jeez.
So that does answer the question. I think we were divided last time about whether or not both of them died. I think Steve and I were saying we thought both died, right? And it appears they both died. So
all right. But speaking of the devil, somebody's here.
Oh, I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. Oh, look, he's wearing his sexy no sleeves.
Man.
Wow.
Hey, Nosferatu in the chat, if you can just hold it down there, buddy.
It was too long a day. I'm in pure comfort mode. I came in and
he was sending me pictures. He was sending me pictures of his bad day, and I'm not going to tell you what that was, but I was like, "You can do it, dude. You can make it, Steve." True story.
Nosferatu is going to be like, I need a meme for Nosferatu now. Now it's going to be like, how Homer drools when he eats a donut. That's what Nosferatu is going to be doing now. So. Nosferatu, that's your wish.
Yeah.
So what did we agree on? Sorry, I just can't. I literally just finished. I watched it so fast. I'm like,
I think we were just saying that proof that both of the Strongs died in the fire at Harrenhal.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, pretty clear now.
Can I shout out a couple people in chat? Hail to Dempsey. Hello to Shane Nolan, as well as Seduker 7th Legion. And I saw Loki's Mornings of Mischief was here earlier. You guys, hail to you. Hail to Zombie Main as well. I always just like to call out people. Nerdscape is here. Hail to everybody. Thanks for being here. And of course, the one and only Nosferatu, who brings his A game to every chat. Hail to you.
Well, especially when Steve shows up with those no sleeves on it, man. Nosferatu is really going to be pumped now.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Nosferatu came by yesterday. He supported my stream doing Halloween 3 with Gray. It was a great time.
I can't wait to talk about our movie. I'm really looking forward to talking about our movie. I rewatched it today. I'm pretty stoked about it. So
okay, so we did make up our mind. I was curious which movie you were talking about.
The Thing from 1982, baby. Okay. I'm claiming it. I'm a kid of the 80s. I'm claiming it. So yeah.
Yeah, you brought up Snowdub. I'm doing something with Snowdub this week, so so my thing with him is already satiated. So
right on.
I'm just asking a whole bunch of people they want to do some serial horror chats for this Halloween season. So
good idea.
No,
good idea. No one asked you, Steve. No one wants to work with you.
That's true.
I don't.
All right.
That's true.
So we get one thing I did notice during the funeral. I like how Aegon was just like bored during it. He was just like, "Oh, I don't care. I have attention. I think he has like ADHD or something. He just can't pay attention. He doesn't care. Doesn't pay attention. And
or he is an inbred lunatic who it's starting, even though his mother was not of the same bloodline, it kind of caught up with the family. But that's just maybe my take on things. So
yeah. What do you guys think of like, I don't know what he was doing. He was just like laying like by a stairwell, and then all of a sudden Otto just like kicks him, picks him up, and
that
takes
was
him
awesome.
I was just like, whoa.
Drunk off his butt, right? I mean,
yeah, he was shit faced.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, I wasn't.
Yeah, he was completely completely shit faced. And Otto, of course, is not going to have any of that, right? I mean,
no.
Nerdless Valerian over there is confused by that. The other 3 members of the chat were like, "Been there, fam."
Yeah,
I guess
I got drunk at family weddings all the time in the 80s, man. It was a big Eastern European family. They used to have champagne fountains. I went to the best wedding, Nerdporal, in Chicago, and it was probably before you were born. I think I was like 11, and it was in a big bowling alley, and they had the pink champagne fountain with like pink lights going, and yet people were still bowling where the reception was. It was beautiful. I miss the 80s. Miss the 80s every day.
that was an 80s wedding. Okay, nice.
No, big 80s Polish wedding, man. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Nerdless Valerian.
I've never been to a Polish wedding, to be honest. I've been to like people at church, but yeah, my family,
dude.
We I don't think I've ever been to a family wedding.
My grandparents were in the World War II generation, so my great aunts and uncles were alive. So, dude, everybody had like 37 kids. So you're constantly going to a wedding and you're constantly getting shit faced, like as a kid. You know, I mean, look at me. I turned out fine. You know, so it's good. Don't worry about
it. According to you, anyways. So.
Somebody mute Steve.
I did myself. You're good.
So I'm curious. I'm curious what the situation. I'm curious what the issue is with the sister. So the sister has like she's just like they call her the idiot. So she just like got like, is she like mentally challenged or something?
There's a theory that she's a green seer or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
she's like doing stuff with she's doing like magic stuff, right? Yeah, I figured she was like touched in a magical sense, right?
A throwback from the original bloodline.
Okay, so she's one of those Targaryens that has the power of, green sight. So kind of like
that's how I took it, anyways.
So kind of like the woman that the Targaryen woman that was able to see that the doom of Valyria was going to occur within a decade, and that's why the Targaryens ended up shipping out to Dragonstone with all their people, resources, slaves, everything. So okay, then all right.
One of the schools of magic, if not divination, then some type of hearth magic or earth magic. You know, and what I'm guessing is earth magic, which is weird because they keep talking in this episode about how fire made them. But again, I quibble because I'm a dork. So, and Sadukar, 7th Legion, says, if there isn't at least 2 fights at our family weddings, it's not a wedding. Thank you. And one of them is usually between the bride and groom. That's the kind of wedding you want to go to. I agree.
Really? The bride and the groom, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The bride slept with the best man, right? So you got to have that fight. There you go.
Or a bridesmaid. It's the 21st century. You know?
There you go.
Okay. Shane Nolan says Danis the Dreamer. Okay, so that's her. I don't know if was supposed to be the. Okay, so that was supposed to be the one that we got the
yes.
not the sister, but the ancestor. Okay, that predicted. Okay, that makes sense.
Look at Jeff P.
Welcome,
dude.
Jeff
Look
P.
at this. I was just gonna say this, New Pearl. Dude, look at this.
Just finished tonight's episode. My opinion, best one yet.
Can we talk about that for just 1 second? I would say this felt like a top 3 episode. That's off the top of my head. I haven't given this a 1 through 10 rating yet, but I think I might give this an 8. I might give this one an 8, which is probably one of the highest ratings I've given this season. So I don't know how you guys feel about tonight, though.
So what would you rank this with? You would rank this with what other episodes?
Oh God, I think it was the second and third one. What I liked about this one is it sounds crazy, but it didn't feel exposition heavy. Now, I think some of that might have been the cinematography and how frequently they changed shots. It didn't feel like there was a hell of a lot of filler in this episode, despite us basically being at a funeral for most of the episode, until Rhaenyra gets it on with Daemon, spoilers, by the way, on the beach. And then all of a sudden somebody did some meth and suddenly we are back in form. And, the Targaryens are doing Targaryen things. And, but that's why I like this episode. Something changed in the pacing. It certainly wasn't there in the last episode that demoralized me, but in this one, it was great. But if you guys disagree, that's okay.
No, I don't know that it was. I am going to have to watch it again slower because I was sort of like blazed through it to try and get on, right? Because I got home really late from work, but it was
hot, so hot.
It was volumes better than last week's. I don't know. I was pretty bored at the beginning, to be honest. But it ramped up, so I thought it was pretty good. I don't know that there's a rating in my head just yet. Maybe I should go. I don't know. Nosferatu is getting a lot out of control here. But definitely back in the correct direction. I feel like it was. There's still a little bit there that I do need to watch it again, just in more of a less frantic style of watch, right?
Mm-hmm. What about, all right, so what did you think of Corlys trying to talk about succession to Rhaenyra's I believe it was her second son, Lucerys. And then he's just like, Lucerys is like, I don't want to do this. It means everybody's going to die and blah, blah, blah. What'd you guys think of that little moment right there?
I'll have to rewatch that. Yeah, I'm going to need to rewatch that.
I don't know. I feel, I don't know. I feel, I don't know. Are all the heads of houses just in denial that these kids are bastards? It just, I don't know. It bothers me. It bothers me a little bit. There's just like, I mean, I guess what else are they going to do? But I mean, it's.
I think there's an analogy. Imagine if somebody stole a presidential election and everybody knew that they stole that election, but you couldn't talk about it. And we all have to pretend that whoever stole the election is actually the president. I think that, hypothetically speaking, I think that's probably what's kind of going on in this show. I know as impossible as that sounds. Yeah.
Well,
so in other words, Emperor's new clothes, basically.
I mean, everybody else doesn't seem to care to say it. It's just Viserys and Corlys that are
so.
Like,
so I don't Viserys makes sense to me, right? Viserys makes sense to me because it's his daughter and they're his grandchildren regardless, right? They are Valyrian blood, right? It's not like it was a Valyrian son and a wife and she cheated on his son, right? Yeah. So to him, it's still his bloodline. They're still they're still Targaryens. So I think he makes sense. He's trying to avert a war. He's trying to bind all the houses together. That makes sense. The argument that they're making for Corlys Velaryon specifically is one of my issues with this episode, because he brings up the thing about people don't remember blood, they remember names.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, first of all, you're deluding yourself. Second of all, you're supposed to be, we're the blood of old Valyria, we're the blood of the tides, the salts, the sea.
It was an interesting flip. Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you should be.
I thought he should be pissed off. I mean,
yes.
I mean,
you should have been pissed this whole time.
Yeah. It would have been nice if there would have been a scene between Rhaenyra and him where he said he knows that they tried, but that he knows his son can't do it.
I mean,
and it must not be easy keeping up the charade. Just 2 lines, because you're right, Pips. I mean, it's very obvious, that's dude. The solution. That's the fix.
Well,
I agree.
And them going back, and I did appreciate them going back and saying, "Look, we tried it. I couldn't get pregnant
twice." They said it twice.
So they did it twice. So I did appreciate that. I still think she's being way irresponsible, but it makes a little bit more sense. It's like, they don't know. It could, just because they don't know. I think 3 is a little much, but it's 3 kids, right? Like as soon as the
Yes.
first one popped out, brown hair and looking like the other guy, it should have been like, well, maybe this isn't such a good idea, but we could probably get
Yeah.
away with the one looking like this, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It could have popped out with blonde hair, even though the guy was right. I mean, so I get the one. The 3 is a little much, but I am very happy that they went back and said we tried. Is it Laris? Not only are
Yep.
you, a switch hitter, you got no strength in that seed.
No, he's
so,
just a lefty. He's not
Yeah.
a switch hitter. He's just a lefty, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So
You
I
know,
did appreciate that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was thinking, well, geez, you could just get somebody to get him off into a goblet and be creative, but apparently that didn't work either. So
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. It's good that they revisited it and established it, but Salty's 100% right. That needed to be a scene with Corliss, and
I agree.
to explain why he's not furious about the
And the
mockery
mother
of his house.
it would be the mother. It would be the mother of the family that
Yes.
would be talking to her, because mother-in-laws on daughter-in-laws. Those of you who are familiar with that arrangement, there's a lot of honesty. We'll call it honesty and advice. And it would have been nice to have just one empathetic sentence where I exhausted everything we could possibly do. Because that's what a mother-in-law would have done, especially when it was almost the queen of the realm. But again, it's nitpicking. It is literally just nitpicking.
Well, I mean, there's a case to be said that if they tried and tried, and that's why this conversation would be good, is if they don't have an heir that's putting them directly in danger because they don't have the line can be broken, right? So there's a point there where it's like we need to produce an heir.
Yeah, and that mother would have been on that grandmother would have been on it. She would have been standing there with a stick going in and out, in and out, in and out, just to make sure they got one. One.
Like they should have been. I think they should have been in the last episode. I mean, that was a.
Can I shout out? Hello to Leia Rose. She says Nelson, Salty, Texas C. Don't know what that means. Hail to you. It's great to see you guys. So sorry, I just wanted to call out chat.
All right. But we got we got them in this episode, and I'm just so did he? So they said so. Pips, you said before that. I'm just trying to understand. So, the whole idea between bloodline versus names. Okay, so that completely went way over. Went over my head.
I think it's his admission that he knows that they're bastards and he doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that
at this point, he's I think Steve's right. I agree.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
All right.
Which
he's
is
like, it doesn't matter.
It wasn't
completely
admission.
wrong, but yeah.
It was an admission. The problem is that it's so far against his established character thus far, with the importance of the bloodline of his house, Valeria, like all of that. And that's why, for me, that line was jarring. It was just like, seriously? But
I agree. It was a weird scene, and I think it could have been resolved. I think it could have been resolved in the fact that, again, going back to what we talked about, was just something where we tried everything to get our gay son to have a child with this Targaryen, and it didn't work. Turkey baster, everything.
Duck versus pigeon.
I come back, I hear turkey baster, man.
Turkey baster. Yeah, turkey bastering. There's a lot more graphic things I would say, but it's not my channel. So, but yeah, it would have resolved a lot of things, and he could have resigned himself to the fact that this is how it is, and we have to live with it. We don't have to like it, but the future of our house is set with male heirs. And it's like maybe that would be the sell I'd go with. It's not perfect. But,
I mean, there's a whole nother level that's going to obviously happen now that I'm jumping ahead, so maybe I'll just wait till we get there with what happens at the end. Those kids are not in. Those kids are very bad. Are not in good shape. They're not going to be.
We didn't get that far yet.
Sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to keep talking about Corliss and Rhaenys, because they bring up succession of their house now. So Rhaenys says that she wants what was her name? What's the granddaughter's name again? what was her name? Lane, not Lena. I don't
The,
remember her name.
the
Bela?
one who's like a
the oldest
witch.
Bela?
Bela. Okay, Bela.
Okay.
She wants Bela to be the one to take control of the
Yes.
driftwood share, I believe is what they call it. And Chorus is
Mhm.
like, well, what about her son? And I forget what was said, but
Well, that's where the blood and name
Yeah,
thing.
so that was
Yeah.
that was right before that, and the line she said, which was good, was like, "We're here alone. You can tell me the truth," is essentially what she said, and she gave him a look like she was
Yeah.
like, "Don't freaking lie to me, you piece of."
I
Yeah.
know that look. I know that look. I'm 52
You
years old. I
motherfucker!
know
Just
that
say
look.
it, mother. Just say it. Just say
Yeah.
it. I know you
Yeah.
know.
Don't play dumb with me.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm burning. No pun intended. So I talk about it's Laris, right? That's Reyna's husband.
Oh,
That's
what a-
the
I hope we're
Valerian.
rid of him. Like
Lenore.
100%.
Lenore.
Yeah.
Lenore, sorry,
Yeah.
and I don't mean to jump ahead, but the fact that the corpse was burned beyond recognition in the fireplace. As someone who did not read this book, I was like,
Did
So-
you not
so-
did you not
so-
see the last 2 seconds of the episode with the rowboat?
No.
Yeah,
you didn't see the robot?
Yeah, spoilers, he's not dead.
Yeah.
See, okay, I didn't. For some reason, I'm gonna have to go back and watch. You know why? Because I was texting Nerdporial, going, "Dude, I'll be there in 5 minutes," and then
Don't
I'm
start
like,
without
"Dude, I
me."
don't have a link." So
Well,
thank you.
it's funny.
Thank
well,
you.
Well,
No,
so
truly,
that's
thank you.
well, I mean, it's funny. I think that's what it's supposed to invoke, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, so
Yeah.
you're paying attention. So
It
because I thought this.
also
Yeah, sorry.
no. You
No, go ahead. No, I was done. Go.
It made an interesting tie-in with Damon and him as well, because you see Damon go in and he kills like random servant dude, which apparently was because they needed a body to throw into the fire, and then you see him with his head shaved, Valerian hair gone, and he's in the
That's
rowboat
good.
with his
Good.
boy toy,
Good.
and so
Which he looks
apparently,
much better without the hair, by the way.
yeah, that
I gotta say,
Ooh,
1,000 times better.
Steve.
bad wigs happen to good people is a
Yeah.
theme in this show.
Yeah, I was a little
Stra-
I was a little confused about Damon just offing the guy, and then it's just like, oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes
That's
a
what-
lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. And thank you,
But-
Steve, for that straight eye for the queer guy analysis of hair. That was awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
It did make a weird thing with Lenore, who because you saw like the grief that his mother went through, and you're like, dude, Lenore just straight up made his mother feel like she lost both of her children in a week. Like
Mhm.
that is some cold shit.
Yeah, he's
Is there a possibility she's in on it?
no.
That was a very real reaction.
Okay, the only reason,
the
only reason, and I'm going with stereotypes that are insensitive and yet they're remarkably true, is that a gay man and his mother share a lot of secrets.
Well, look,
And most of the ones I've known that are into show tunes. Again, no disrespect.
Well,
this is real, okay? But they're always really close with their moms.
Him going away solves a lot of problems for I think both houses. So I mean, I can see where you're sort of like, well, I guess not. Well, I guess they've lost all connection with the royal, with the.
It's a mess.
Now,
it's a
right?
lose-lose. It's a lose-lose staying there. And he would be just as culpable as Reyna. So him getting away with a shitload of gold with his boy toy to go, play reindeer games across the sea sounds like a pretty easy out. Since he had no interest in being a father to the children that weren't his, he can just go off and do his thing.
Well, and I think Renara, Master Stroke basically, was like, I failed you. It's like, well, you know what? You can do something for me and it'll make up for all of it. Just piss off. He's like, oh shit, okay.
Piss off and let me bang my uncle.
Let me bang my uncle. Yeah. We're gonna make some white-haired babies. Let's go.
I kept hoping for nudity. I really did. Like, because I'm a heterosexual man and I'm toxic. I was like, give me some skin. Give me some skin on the beach. Didn't really get it, but still.
So I'm gonna skip. We're gonna skip past the kids. What do you guys think of Lenore's demise? Spoiler alert.
Lenore,
That's what we were just talking about.
because Laenor died. Laenor got
The dude in the fireplace?
Yeah.
Or
He's alive, bro.
He's alive.
That's what we were just
he's
talking
alive.
about.
Are you okay?
Dude,
Did you have an
dude,
aneurysm?
no, my mind.
We were just
blew, too.
talking about it.
No,
Bro.
Wait, so he
Nerd
survived?
Alice,
I thought
Nerd
that
Alice
was-
Valerian. My mind
Tips,
was blown too because
help
I
me.
missed it. It
Wait,
wasn't
wait,
just
so
you.
What's
It wasn't
happening?
just you.
What
It
is
wasn't
going
just you.
on?
Wait,
Help,
so
Pets,
I thought he
help me,
died.
help me,
I
Pets.
swear I thought he
Dude,
died.
that's why I brought it up. But it's like apparently
Give me
there was a
strength,
scene in
give
a
me
rowboat, and I missed it too, dude. I
Oh,
missed it too.
okay.
I missed it too.
Well,
not just you.
The part that I'm
Can you mute those two assholes on the
we
bottom
just
tier
spent-
mute? I
we
just talk about
spent
this
5 minutes
episode.
talking about it, dude. Where did you go?
I was looking for the source material. That's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
I was looking for
Okay.
because I was looking
Oh.
for what Laenor was trying. So I'm looking. I was looking for the accounts right here. And according to what this says in World of Ice and Fire, it says Laenor was attending a market fair at Spicetown when he was murdered. So I was curious if they changed that. I thought that was his body. I thought that was Laenor's body that was burnt beyond
We were
recognition.
meant to think that, and that's why I brought up, like, boy, do we think that's actually Laenor? Because the dude's face is conveniently burned. You know.
So recap real quick. 'Cause that's what we're talking about. Because Daemon kills the servant. We're like, why would he do that?
Yeah, I was curious. About
they
that.
have the sword fight. They cut away.
Yeah.
Dead body in the fireplace burning. Then the very last part of the episode is the
Sir Carl getting on
Sir
the
Carl
boat.
on the boat, and it's Laenor that jumps in the boat without hair.
Hood comes
shaved.
off.
Oh, that was
shaved
Laenor.
head.
I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't even
He looks
See,
recognize
I
completely different.
totally
Jesus.
missed that. I
Sorry.
totally missed
I'm
that.
sorry.
Thank you,
I'm sorry. I know
gentlemen.
you
Thank
guys were. Yeah, my bad.
No,
I
well,
was-
and that's why I said
my
he
attention
looks.
deficit.
He
disorder
looks.
right
He
there.
looks like a completely different person. Like it would actually probably work because he looks completely different without
Yeah.
his hair.
They'll
So.
be very popular with the boys with a haircut like that. Hail to Leia Rose, who warns us all. It says El Perro is in the house. El Perro is from Mordor. That is, of course, a Snow Dub reference. But I'm gonna stop derailing and get more wine. I'll be back.
Okay,
I wish I
so
could
that-
join you. This is the first one I haven't been able to drink in a while. I gotta instruct some students tomorrow morning early.
Oh. I have
well,
a
that's-
really sassy Italian, like red. It's so good. So good.
That's actually Shane brings up a good point. What's going to happen to Laenor's dragon?
Where's Shane's?
Yeah,
It's
so
up there a little
he
bit.
brought up with Laenor dead, Sea Smoke is now in the same position Vagar was, right?
But wouldn't the dragon just follow Laenor? Like,
I mean, presumably the dragon isn't any better at spotting him without his hair than people are.
okay.
I don't know if maybe he left him a note, put a sticky on the fridge, I guess.
They had a chat. He's like, buddy, it's cool having a dragon, but I'm out.
You
Is that
do
how
raise
it
a good point. You raise a really good point on that.
So are we thinking that the eldest daughter, since
That's what I
Aemon, is it
thought.
Aemon took the other one?
That's what I'm guessing.
We think the eldest
makes
daughter's going to take
Aemon
over.
Aemon's the son.
Is
Aemon's
Aemon's the second son who took
Yeah.
over
So,
Ray?
yeah,
Vagar.
Not Bela. Bela's the elder, the younger of them, who I'm not even sure if we've actually heard her name. So
I don't know her name.
it might have been attached to a subtitle while they were talking, but I can't remember her name.
I don't.
so.
I didn't see any name. So
Is it true, you guys? In private chat, Pips just told me that the actress who's playing the new Rhaenyra is a they.
yeah.
Now I understand. I have a firm grasp on the English language, the way it was taught. Until recently, until very recently, they is a plural noun or a statement of a multitude of people. So I thought that's a chick, right? That's a chick. That's
honestly,
not a dude. That's not a dude pretending to be a chick, right? Like, it's a chick.
I have never before questioned the nature of my reality.
That's a chick. You can call yourself Bullwinkle. You're still a chick. You know what I mean?
What's the matter, you? Okay.
What's the matter you? What's the matter me? What's the matter me? What's the matter you?
All right. So let's get to. Okay. So let's talk about the kids now. Let's start with Aemond. So Aemond manages to sneak out I guess no one was guarding him. I guess young Princess. Maybe Driftmark is just that easy to sneak out of. I don't know. I didn't write this. I didn't
I
write
don't
the
know how
script.
Cole is not freaking hanging from the
That's
roofs
what I'm
on
saying.
this scene. Yeah.
Yeah, Cole. Yeah, I agree. Like,
is it literally just him standing watch over the whole freaking keep? There's like no corporals, no lieutenants. It's just that dude. He stands in a room and he's the watch for the whole effing installation.
I've brought it up before.
And going back to Cole, just what you said, like he makes a freaking remark to the king to the point where the king had to, had to scold him and everything. I was just like,
yeah,
I would have.
This is now multiple times he's messed up.
Yeah,
multiple.
I'm like, just like that's.
And
this is not
the whole like hold me back.
Like
when he like rushes in and has to get restrained by two other of the Kingsguard. If he is not kicked out of the Kingsguard in next episode, I have no idea what's happening.
And flogged.
The dude.
You want to know? Like
the dude killed
kicked out of the
knight.
Kingsguard. Oh, you know that saying, failing upwards.
Yeah, I know. He's supposed to become the captain.
Well,
right?
like what? So go ahead. Give me the list of his accolades. He's killed a knight. What else has he done now? He
fucked Rhaenyra 3 episodes ago.
Yeah,
and then told the queen. So basically, he's riding the glory, the glory of taking the princess's virginity, and then telling the queen.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Now he did see combat.
He did beat
You
Damon.
know?
He did beat Damon during the tourney for the heir that never was, or for the heir that cheated. Yeah, in episode 1. So that too.
He had to.
Well, it was Damon just turned around and he just hit him from behind because Damon made a bad decision. Like, this guy is willing to knock you from behind. Like, he's that type of character. So, but going back to Aemond. So Aemond in the last episode got picked on by his brother and picked on by Rhaenyra's kids. With the pig and the dragon pit. Like, this is the dragon you're going to mount, a pig. So he goes. He's like, you know what? I'm going to seize a dragon. I'm going to wake the dragon. And he goes and and we get this awesome shot of Vhagar, like how big Vhagar is. Now Vhagar is one of the original 3 dragons that helped the Targaryens conquer Westeros.
I was hoping
to see Balerion, but I was hoping to see Balerion, but Balerion was dead by this time. So
it was really, I mean, it was cool, but it was really dark. I wish I was like, come on, I need to.
There was a lot of dark in this episode, and I was watching it on a super high res screen, and I jacked my brightness up, and it still wasn't very good. I'm going to try watching it on a 4K TV and see if there's any difference.
It was like I said last week.
Did you guys watch? Sorry,
they didn't learn. They didn't learn from Game of Thrones because people complained about the long night. Like, you couldn't see anything.
Yeah, and well, look, and I like the dragon running part that I could see. It actually looked pretty good. So it's just like, why is it so dark? You're actually doing a pretty good job with the CGI. You're not having to hide it. Let us see it. You're doing a good job.
Is the dimness like that, and like, is it making it dim that important? Like, do they? I mean, I know things. I know back then it was dim, especially at night, because all you had was candlelight and everything. But still,
so
yeah.
Go ahead, Pips.
I was just gonna say, I think that the way to do a night scene is to really establish shadows, right? So you don't need to have everything be ridiculously dark and dim. You can do the little kind of bluish filter that works pretty well. It triggers the brain into it being night. And then you have to have shadows. Shadows are what establish darkness, right? So
correct.
If you the things that you need to see still need to be legible to the eye, right? But then you have a clear defined source of light from where the moon is, and you have nice dark black shadows in the frame that sort of help establish it. And that's what they need to do. And that is a lost art form for some reason.
Agreed. They're masterful with that very clearly in black and white movies because they had to be, especially film noir. Just because I've spent some time doing some digital restoration of some old black and white horror films, which are in the public domain, which will be appearing on my channel. It's a true story. But With this episode, it looked like they just put a really high density gray filter on these beach shots, not paying attention to a damn thing Pips just said, because the moon changes everything. I live in a dark sky sanctuary. I live in a dark,
Freudian slip. You
Not
live
a
in
dike.
a dike. Oh
Not a
my
dike.
He
god!
lives in a
No
he lives in a
dikes.
dike sanctuary, guys. It's a dike sanctuary.
I live on the island of Lesbos. No, so I live, and I love when I bust up in Portland. I live on the island of Lesbos here in Texas. No, I live in a dark sky sanctuary. So we don't have streetlights anywhere in the town where I live. My town is like 1,200 people, which is why I live here. Lots of American flags. But when I go outside in my front yard, there is no light from anything other than the stars and the moon. So that moon throws shadows when your eyes adjust profoundly. My flagpole, that's not a euphemism. I actually have a flagpole in my front yard. Mailbox. The shadows it casts are incredibly important. With this episode, they never had shadows on the beach. And I spent a lot of time on the shore at night, whether it was on the Pacific or the Atlantic. And man, those shadows are a big deal. They really are. So good call on that, guys.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff P says this. They were giving you the perspective of seeing it as if you had one eye to tell you of things to come.
So if I was a Cyclops, I'd love the cinematography. Agreed, Jeff P. Absolutely agreed.
How about don't do that and let me see everything? like if that's what they're doing, it's like, nah, don't do that again. Just let me see everything.
It's
please.
just
you guys.
We watch these to see them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we watch the television show to see the people on the screen. HBO.
I love that you guys are calling the same stuff that I was feeling. So now I feel less like I was being a nitpicking, like crazy person.
You're not. Yeah. And in private chat, I got this picture of a very boyish-looking Rachel Smith who plays Rhaenyra. Still do her. She's hot. It's a chick. You can do whatever you want.
Is that her name? I thought she was Emma something.
I don't know what the hell. Emma something. Yeah. I'm just gonna say when I was younger, when I was younger, I'd flip that all the time back to. Never mind. Let's talk about the show.
So we're Vagar, and so Aemon wakes up Vagar. He tries to climb the rope ladder. Vagar wakes up. Vagar's like, it just starts snarling at him, opens his mouth, is about to you see the glow, you see the orange glow. It's like, uh-oh, what's going to happen? Well, I know what ultimately is going to happen. He's not going to do it. And he says, I wrote down the quote. He's like, what does he say?
You want me to vamp for you? Sadarkar, 7th Legion, and Nosferatu are talking about taking mushrooms when they were younger. Gentlemen, I will have a conversation with you. Mushrooms, chug a bottle of wine, listen to grunge. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry, Notorial, I covered for you. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So he says, Dohyrus Vagar Lakiri. So Dohyrus is like all like when you hear Valar Dohyrus, that means all men must serve. So I'm guessing he's saying serve Vagar and Lycar. I have no idea what Lycar means. But then he is able to climb on the back of Vagar, and then he says Sovis Vagar, and of course then he flies, and then it becomes a roller coaster ride. So what do you guys think of that ride, that flight, the cinematography that came with it? So we got to see like Aemon like struggle to stay on, so he's holding on with his hands for dear life, especially as I think as Vagar swoops down. And then after that, like when we see from his point of view, like riding in front, and we see like birds, or like I was like, is there debris in the air? No, they're just birds. Like
dude, hitting seagulls like at 85 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, no. And some people who may be pilots know what I'm talking about with a midair collision with a seagull.
I think we know somebody of that regard, right?
I did like the bird strike. I thought that was maybe how he was going to lose his eye.
No, I knew that was not going to be the case.
So the one thing that I'll say was So we see him almost lose his seat on a swoop up kind of climb. He should have almost lost his seat at the nose over, right? That's actually where you would get separated away from the saddle.
Yeah.
A climb that puts G's against you, right? So you'd actually get pushed into the saddle. Whereas the nose over is where he should have lost his grip there.
Okay.
And so small like, again, super big nitpicks. I notice it because I have a lot of experience with that, but
yeah. And the other part too is if it was a woman, it would be different because why? The center of gravity is in their hips. Well, yeah, in tits. TITS. Look that one up, kids. They're great. But men's center of gravity is in their shoulders, regardless of what you chop off and so on. I'm just gonna say.
I thought I liked the dragon flying stuff. It reminded me shot for shot almost of How to Train Your Dragon. Hiccup learning how to fly.
Whoa!
I
didn't think about that. Oh,
I've never seen that.
Right down to the wings in the water. Now, I don't care. I still liked it. It looked good. I thought it was actually visually appealing. I thought they did a good job of not making it look fake. But it reminded me of Toothless and Hiccup on their first flying together, because he's fallen off and then they go down and he gets it and that was a good playing movie. In the water. Yeah, I love that movie. I love How to Train Your Dragon.
I mean, and you have kids, so
I
you
love
have
it.
to watch things like this. I voluntarily watch that.
Yeah. Oh, I think How to Train Your Dragon is just a great movie. Period. Kids, not. I liked it quite a bit.
I just want to say I loved this dragon. This dragon felt old, and it felt like it was tired.
Here.
And I really think that this is probably, I'm going to say this, but I think this is probably one of the finest depictions of a dragon anywhere that I have ever seen was in this episode, because of how it looked, because of the scale of this dragon. I really loved this dragon.
That's why
it is so hard to do dragons well. I never liked Smaug in Peter Jackson's Hobbit movies. I never did. I wish Smaug would have been more like this dragon, only obviously red. That's what I would have liked. But
I agree. I mean, that's why I wish that it was like, just I wanted to see a little bit more of the detail, but just the face shot of Aemon standing in front of his head, and you could just see the sheer size of this dragon's skull. It's like, wow, that is a big boy.
Well, they also conveyed by the facial, I can't believe I'm saying this, the facial expressions of a dragon. This was an old dragon.
The dragon has better facial expressions than Galadriel. I just had to get it in there. Sorry.
You're right. or Hillary Clinton, another old dragon. But I really liked, I believed this dragon was like, kid, get out of here. And then, like, when the kid didn't get out of there, he's like, I'm going to effing kill you. You know what I mean? I really liked that scene. And again, this is a CG creature that it was rendered incredibly well.
Yeah, agreed.
It really was.
Yeah, I think it was definitely helped by how dark that scene was. And so I do think that that's probably why they darkened it, was to hide some of the CGI flaws. But I think... However it looked fine in the scene. And
go back to Jeff.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I like the dragon. I can't think of a better dragon. So I'm on board with you, Salty.
I just want to say to Jeff real quick. I get but if you have been living your life being made fun of for not having a dragon, and then you step up. And you not just get a dragon, you get the chaddest of Chad dragons is now yours. You are going to feel like $1 million, and nothing can touch you.
And you stole it at your dead aunt's funeral.
Yeah, right out from under her nose. That's supposed to be mine. Well, you should have got him. Too late, sucker.
And you hear him say, he's like, because he he loses an eye. He's like, I lost an eye, but I gained a fucking dragon.
Yeah, it was just
Well,
like it was fine. I'll take it.
And the
Done.
biggest of dragons too.
I mean, what you also saw was him acting out what his victimizers did to him, which was raw power, intimidation, and physical threats, which is consistent. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and the playgrounds of small mill towns with really poor people were like that. You fought the way the abusers on the playing field or on the playground treated you, because you associated that with power. Now, I know I'm playing little junior psychologist here, but at the same point, I think there's value in that, because he went to the only power that he knew, one that had victimized him. Now, I'm not saying this is an allegory for bullying, because I think bullying is really important, because that's when you do pick up a rock and you break the nose of the person who's tormenting you. But that's just me. But this guy Eamon took it to another level. And whatever the fuck his name is, I live in Lesbos.
Amen.
I live in Lesbos. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dyke
but
Town, right? Sorry.
I live in Dykeville,
Dyke Town, USA. Is that like Fighter Town,
no.
USA?
No.
Yes,
No.
the very same. Yeah,
The very
Town.
same.
Yeah. Instead of Top Gun, it's top clit. But no, my point with all of this, gentlemen, is that I kind of like this. I kind of liked how the character went to what he knew to be power. And it was the immature masculine. And the immature masculine is generally about intimidation and bullying, as opposed to the mature masculine, which is mentoring, which is what they do not show you anymore generally in entertainment.
And protecting. Toxic masculinity is really about protecting.
Well, and just the adrenaline, the adrenaline has got to be flowing through this kid at this point. It's like,
he is high as a kite.
Nobody's gonna be it's like, go get your own pig. My dragon could eat your dragon. Like, guys, nobody's picking on me anymore. Look what it's like. So he's now the king of the schoolyard. And
also, it makes sense from a kind of a kid's psychology, and honestly, like real person psychology perspective as well. He feels like he just did something good and is coming back. He feels like he's going to be, kind of the king of the castle sort of situation. And instead, the first people he meet are all trying to accusing, calling him down, trying to, go after him. And that immediately puts him on the defensive and lashes out, right? Which is classic.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at chat. Nerdporial, you have the coolest people in your chat. We've got Nosferatu the Vampire, who said Nerdporial's dragon would be Bahamut 0. Then we've got Shane Nelson saying a shotgun is a shotgun. This is true unless it's a 410, but it is what it is. And then Nosferatu said Salty was Ray DiMio's muscle in the 70s. Yes, I was but a wee lad, but I wielded a very impressive Coopersville that I could go for the kneecaps. That's what we did. I'm Italian. You go for the kneecaps. So, yeah.
Oh, man. Nosferatu, I thought you liked me. Falcor.
Rock Me Amadeus. No, that was what was his name?
Never Ending Story is kind of creepy when you watch it now. I feel like
I never liked Never Ending Story. Not to get derailed, but you give Nerdporial Smog, Salty gets freaking Bahamut, Sadakar. Nerdporial gets Smog and Bahamut. I get Falcor, dude.
I'm putting on a luck dragon. What's
wrong with
luck dragon?
I'm putting on a damn shirt.
Turn around. Look at what you see.
Wait a minute. We're gonna do Never Ending Story. I thought you were gonna do Bonnie Tyler, A Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Oh no.
Yeah. Turn around.
So oh my gosh. So not to we're completely derailed. I'm sorry. So do you think after what happened, do you think the punishments or the lack thereof is realistic?
Yes, because per the current succession, not secession, right? Per the current succession, those two boys that attacked and cut his eye out, right? Those are number 2 and 3 in line for the throne.
Okay.
whereas this other kid is like number 8, right?
Okay. Yeah. Now, and we're all pretty much on the same page that Christian Cole should be dead. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that son of a bitch. I don't know why they're keeping him alive.
Yeah, I was surprised to
Allison,
see.
because
He's
Allison,
terrible. Yeah.
because it looked like in that moment, it looked like Viserys was not in control of the situation. It looked like Allison was acting.
I wanted
on her own
to,
accord. I was
I wanted
surprised she
She
didn't.
took his knife.
I was surprised she didn't get. I was surprised he didn't charge her with treason.
So I was going to say, I wanted to
attacking.
see Viserys backhand her and be like, you're the insolence of you are the queen, I am the king. You need to calm the F down. And then I thought something would happen.
I wanted to see him threaten, like, if you.
I thought something was going to happen to her, and I still think something should have. Not only did she take the knife, she stabbed.
Yes.
She stabbed the heir to
Rhaenyra.
the kingdom. She wounded her. She should actually be probably executed.
See, I really wanted Viserys to do exactly what you said, which is to just bitch slap her
and hurt himself or something. Yeah, I mean,
fucking nail her. Yeah. And to say that this is a kingdom. I am the king of this kingdom, and I will be until my death. And then it will be a queen who leads, or something like that. But we can't do that in 2022. We can't.
That would have been a great setup for like pushing them farther apart as well. If he had just smacked the shit out of her in front of the entire court, taken his daughter's side, then I think that would have fueled the tension.
Yeah,
Instead, he tries to dump water on it.
Because and this is part of one of the problems I had with this episode personally, and like maybe talking through it, I'll feel different. But I didn't like that. I thought that could have been handled a little better. I think Viserys should have maybe backhanded her, hurt his hand or something really bad, and just or something like that, right?
He's too weak to do that.
He could have hit her with her cane and fell over, and then or something, right? Just to put her in her place and be like, you're out of line. And then just, obviously showing he's still weak, but he was angry enough that he had to do something, right? That's what I was hoping for.
Or when she drew the dagger, he somehow found the reserve and the strength to draw his own and to hold it to her throat.
It was his.
You know what I mean? I mean,
it
something
dagger,
like
right?
that, where it's just I am the king. I am weak. I am pathetic, but I am the king. And I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
We needed something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, agreed. And then I didn't really like the conversation between her and her father afterwards, because I think she showed complete weakness. I don't think she showed strength at all in that scene. I think she came off as a spoiled little queen that is being insolent. I didn't think that showed strength or fight or anything.
Remember, she's an allegory for Trump voters. So she's going to be reactionary. That's not my shit. That's HBO's.
Is she really?
What does that mean? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Apparently, what that means is
she's bad. So that she's
bad. Yeah.
Well, I'm just
populism's bad. I'm
interested in what you guys think, because I that's how I felt. I didn't like that he was almost praising her for her action in that scene.
It's like, I didn't see this side of you. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's what? Because I feel like that put her back.
Do
you know what
would have been cool? A silver lining speech. He was trying to say, because she said, people think I'm crazy, rumors, all this stuff, and he's like, all that's true, but you're fighting for your kids and their claim to the throne. Before, I thought you were going to stand out and not even take this fight. Yeah. So I think that was my interpretation.
What I really wish would have happened is Viserys would have been turned on by his queen being crazy.
Can he be turned on anymore? Hasn't it rotten and fallen off at this point?
I don't know about the state of his peen, but I'm just saying, whatever he still has left, I mean, That would have been good because I mean, I still want to give
He
this guy
just gotta-
some power. You know what I mean?
He just leaves
It's
the
the
room
pleats.
with
The
That's what I'm saying.
pleats.
I mean, he's
his
got
robes
wood.
are just
He's
his,
got
his robes
wood.
are just
He's got
sticking out.
wood. He's got wood like 10 inches ahead of him in his robes. And he's like, come to my royal chambers now. You know what I mean?
will be punishing
I
you
would have bought
directly.
that. That's right. I'm going to spank you quite thoroughly
Vigorously.
with my Targaryen staff.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I just it didn't. I don't know. I didn't like the after discussion. I bought all the during. I just didn't. It was just like I don't know that made her look good, but I get it. It's silver lining. Like okay, well maybe you do have a bit of fire in you. I guess that's what it was meant to be. Fine. I guess. Okay.
How would you compare this scene, this whole scene with the family, with the fight, with what happened in the very first book, in the very first season of Game of Thrones, with Joffrey and Arya, and remember what ultimately happened with that, between the Starks and the
they killed the butcher's boy,
Baratheons,
right?
and they had to kill.
Is that what we're talking about? The butcher boy.
The butcher's boy, and they had to kill Lady.
So it's a
Sansa's,
completely.
diary.
I think it's a completely different thing because you're talking about you have somebody that is not of royalty at this point that you could punish, which is the easy out. Well, it's the butcher boy's fault. Kill him, and then it's just a dog. Kill the dog.
And
I think that was an easy decision. Sorry, go ahead, Pips.
And I was going to say the other role is reversed in who suffered the injury, right? So it was Joffrey who got his arm slashed open by the sword or the dire. I don't remember exactly what they did in the show in the attack.
Nymeria bit him.
I thought that's what it was.
No, it was Nymeria. It was Nymeria that bit him.
Yeah.
But they killed Lady because Lady was just Nymeria ran off because Arya threw the stone.
So Joffrey was bit, whereas again in this story, friggin' I don't know, Harry and friggin' Megan's kid,
God, dude.
Over there on the side family.
God, can you and the UK guys in the UK please take them back, please? We'll give you money instead of the Ukraine because it's a worthy cause. Just take those bastards back.
Okay, so Salty, you have to leave us.
Yeah, I stayed a lot longer because you gentlemen are captivating and fun, and I really needed some fun tonight, so thank you. I'm Salty Texas C. Give me a sub if you haven't lately. I am very honored to get to work with you, Nerd Alice Valerian, the one and only Pips of the yeah, that's what I said. Pips from the White Cloaks. And then, of course, Prophet of the Dragon, known as Steve. You gentlemen are fantastic. Hail to everyone who's been in chat. I have been reading all of your messages, and I always say it on my own show, but you guys make this stream. So thank you very much. I will watch the end of this tomorrow after the hell that is my career in corporate America resolves itself. But thanks for having me on tonight very much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate being here as long as you did. As long as you were, I mean, sorry.
That's all right. I live on the island of Lesbos, where language has
Dyketown, USA.
No,
baby.
I live in Dykeville. It's
Dykeville.
Dykeville. You
Steve, you keep screwing this up, Steve.
Bastard, you misogynist.
Because I was shoveling shit all night, okay? Literally shoveling shit.
You guys didn't know this, but Steve, Prophet of the Dragon, actually works on the creative team behind Rings of Power. He really was shoveling shit.
Man, it was a fucking hard night, man.
You guys, I'm going to go. Bye. I love you all.
Bye.
Take care. Have a good night. Oh, wow.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
It was. So,
oh, boy.
So now the stream has gotten less political. We love you. We love you, Salty. We love you. All right. So, but yeah, because watching that scene just made me, even though it was, like you said, Steve, it was a totally different situation. It was an easy out, but it just reminded me of that scene. Robert Baratheon was in the middle of it. You had the Starks on one side, and you had Cersei demanding justice for poor little Joffrey's arm.
Yeah, it's a definite parallel, but I think Mr. Baratheon had a much easier decision to make there, and just be like, Butcher's boy, kill a wolf. Done. Can this
So
be
it's funny
settled
you
now?
say that. It's funny you say that because I feel like actually what happened there. I think that there's intentional parallels that are being set up here, right? Like they know that it harkens back to those scenes. They're doing
I
it
think so, yeah.
intentionally. So I think that you saw Robert being a stronger king in a better position versus Viserys, right? And yet I think Viserys actually, in a tougher situation, makes a better sort of decision than I think that Robert did. Robert actually made the worst, the lesser of the two kind of decisions, I think.
What did Viserys decide, though? I mean, he really didn't do anything to Alicent after she sliced the queen open.
You mean the
Because
princess?
because I think that short
No,
of
I'm
imprisoning his wife, he
Yeah.
really didn't have any options there, and so he
But
was
if-
able to diffuse the situation to the point where the episode ends and like the fighters all go back to their separate corners, and which is
So I mean, since we talked about it, sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry, but
no.
wouldn't it have been a better decision to offer up Christian Cole on a pike?
Yeah.
Because this is all because of him. When
Yep.
it comes to, well, I shouldn't say all because of him, but it could be said it's his fault for not doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is defending the children or protecting the children, right?
So
is that not a decision you can make too? It's like, look, but I get it because I guess she couldn't do that because she would be happy with that because that's her defender and she wants blood for his eye. Okay, got it. I talked myself around that.
What did you think of them kind of sidelining? I was hoping to see more of Graham McTavish's Harold Westerling. I was like, is he still alive? Because he's still the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, and
I like that he was there.
Yeah, I'm glad he was there. He was barely in the season. So
I feel like it's possible that they use these events to have him not be the Lord Commander the next episode, right? And so that's where if you want to say like why wasn't Cole sort of put out on his ass, right? Why wasn't he offered up? I would say the Lord Commander is ultimately responsible. The buck stops there, right? So the Lord Commander could very easily be the one that judgment would come down on instead of Cole.
Sure.
And then on top of that, the Lord Commander is standing. I'm pretty sure he's standing next to the king and sort of almost between Alicent and the king, if I remember kind of the blocking in that scene. So not like directly in between, but like they're sort of in a line and he's sort of offset from it, but still between them.
Mm-hmm.
And she lunges at the king, at his royal person, takes his dagger, could have stabbed him right in the belly, right there. Like for a brief second, you almost thought she was attacking the king, right? And Graham McTavish does zilch,
Nothing.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that is a pretty damning indictment on him. Like he's lost a step, and I don't know if they were intentionally showing us that. So if next episode, if he's getting put out and retiring, sort of like Barristan the Bold, if we see a scene like that, then
it's funny because I mean, Corporeal said failing upwards. So like if they retire him, Christian Cole is going to be promoted to commander, right?
What I expect to see, and I don't know if the timeline works perfectly for this. I think next episode Viserys could die, and if that happens, then this dude's.
Oh, I think Pip's lost power. That is an odd look.
That is a creepy
crazy
look. Holy crap!
Oh my gosh, he's it's Halloween.
He's like Michael Myers in the shadow. Like the glass, you see the reflection off his glasses.
That is so freaky,
God.
dude.
That is
okay.
I think that's. I think Pips has awakened the dragon, or no, sorry, Pips has awakened the horse.
Oh my gosh, that is craziness.
Yeah,
that is.
But going back to what you were saying, with Westerling, I have an image here I wanted to show, but I don't know how to do it with sharing because I have the HBO Max thing up on my other screen and I can't show it.
Is it on? Go to use Firefox.
Oh, Firefox.
Yeah,
Okay.
it won't. You can't do it through Google. Google will black it out. Firefox will allow you to actually. You can actually just play clips. So honestly, Firefox does whatever the software is that Google uses to block it. Firefox doesn't have it, so
All
you
right,
can
I'll have
show
to
anything you
download.
want.
I'll have to download Firefox. so I
Firefox
don't
is a
have
good
to-
way to show like anything you need to from Amazon Prime or
I used to
HBO
use
Max.
it all the time. Yeah, I used to use it all the time.
I
Now
use it. I use
keep
it for any of
forgetting.
my streaming because it doesn't block it like Google does. But hey, he's back.
You had the best. You had the
What
best
was
shadowy image. Like you have to rewatch the rewind.
you got to watch? Yeah, you got to go.
You were like
this,
Michael
yeah.
Myers. You were in the shadow. You looked like you were about to sneak up on someone, and you had your sunglasses were like something out of an anime where you saw a reflection from the computer. It was so.
What happened? Like lightning? You in a storm or something?
I think it's lingering effects from the hurricane and power disruption.
Gotcha.
So they're probably repairing something, and I got a flicker of power.
I'm telling you,
has it
I'm
gone by you
hot
at all?
spotted off my south of us, but I'm hot spotting off of my phone right now. So tell me if the connection is bad until my
you seem
Wi-Fi
pretty
has to
actually
boot
okay.
back up again.
No, you
Okay.
seem okay. You're not bad. I do suggest you go back just because that image is pretty cool. Like just like that one frame just before the light. You lost the lights before you lost the internet. It's just like whoosh, just like whoa. He just got
That
attacked
was
by
like-
some ghost. It was cool.
It was great. It was great. But there's but I
Nice.
have on my screen right here that I have an image. It's a top shot. It's a shot from the top where Allison is trying to stab Rhaenyra's kid, and Rhaenyra's holding his arm, and it looks like one of the Kingsguard is trying to draw his sword, but then Sir Harold Graham McTavish is gesturing him to stop. So I was just like, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just like,
You can't bring it up.
I don't have Firefox.
Oh well, here. Let me.
I'd have
Do you
to-
have a timestamp? I'll find it.
It is 43 minutes 9 seconds.
All right, let me find it. We'll go ahead. I'll 43. I'm sorry, 43 minutes 9 seconds.
I did go back and look at the still. That was good.
Okay, so you should be proud, Pips. You should be proud.
It's good. That should be your thumbnail that could be your Halloween thumbnail right there.
There you go for when we talk about Jaws.
Dark Pips.
Yeah, so tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Jaws on Columbus Day, because Columbus was a terrible person, and perfect day for a horror movie, I guess. A perfect day to talk about horror movie on the sea. So, Jaws. So there you go.
That's true. It is the horror from the sea on Columbus Day.
Yeah, and Pips is not a horror guy. You're
dirty
not a horror.
colonials.
Yeah, you're not a horror guy at all, right? You're just you're really into like mainly suspense and maybe thrillers.
It's not that I'm not a horror guy. I think I just don't like movies that really over leverage jump scares versus like a good like build to
Tension,
so like the tension, the suspense, the like creepiness, that kind of stuff, I think is a lot more fulfilling. The jump scare stuff, I'm just like, I get it. Like, I'm a human. If you do loud noises and a sudden movement, like, it's going to cause me to flinch, right? Like that's what happens. But it doesn't get it doesn't get the same response from me.
Yeah.
And most of the genre, I think, relies on jump scares. So.
Oh yeah, especially the slasher genre. I love the original Halloween because it's just creepy. It's just like creepy throughout the movie. It doesn't really rely on jump scares nearly as much.
And I think that's maybe another thing. I'm not a huge fan of just like blood and guts and gore and all that stuff. So I like the stuff that is more, I mean, like Jaws, honestly, where like you don't ever really actually see it.
No, you don't. Especially, because it was just a horrible. Okay, Steve finally got.
Is that what you're looking at?
Yes.
Or what,
yes. This is 43 minutes and 9 seconds.
All right. What are we doing
the guy
here?
drawing a sword there. That's 43:09.
Yeah. So you see Harold Westerling at the south at 6 o'clock. keeping that one Kingsguard to his left from drawing his sword as Rhaenyra is trying to defend herself. I was curious what that was like. Is this like supposed to be a woman thing? Should
That's
she
not.
be...
That's not a Kingsguard. That is one of the Corliss's family guard.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't
probably,
know
because he's not wearing the white cloak, of course. Duh.
yeah. So probably
Duh.
good call. Like that dude would have just stabbed Alicent in the face, probably.
Yes.
So why? So like, they're not intervening because it's princess versus queen, and they just nobody like it could just boil out of control if they step in. Is that the thinking?
This one I think is a contrivance, right? Like they wanted to have the drama there. I think 100%. I think 100% he would have stepped in. He would have grabbed the knife out of her hand and would have just shoved the two of them away from each other because he's a dude in plate mail armor and they're women. He would have just like knocked the two of them back, you know?
Yeah. Well, I would think he has no time for this nonsense either. It's like,
Yes.
It's like I will risk being reprimanded by the king to save the heir and the queen from hurting each other. I think that's
especially
a risk.
especially I'm glad that she got slashed. Anybody who has ever been in, which unfortunate for you, or done any sort of training with knives, if you get into a knife fight, somebody is coming away bloody. Knife fights are dangerous for the person with the knife, for the person without the knife. Like bad situation.
Yeah,
I'm sure Pips. I mean, one thing I learned is, especially from people who've had experience like you, people who've had experience in combat, like you'll come across someone with a knife coming at you, you fucking run.
Well,
I prefer the Indiana Jones policy, but
you
bring a gun to a knife fight,
carrying a whip,
yeah,
or carry a gun to a knife fight. Okay.
Yes.
Well, so
I always support carrying a gun to a knife fight.
Where did Viserys end up here? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm looking. Like, is he the one that's surrounded?
I'm trying to like see if like this is supposed to be like a shot of like people squaring off, like for foreshadowing sake or something. He's got Daemon over there with Christian Cole. Then you got all the
very much that. Yeah. I think that we saw the split of like loyalties and allegiances in this scene. That was something I definitely detected there. And right now, so you have sort of this circle, right? Up to the top right, I think, is where the king is standing, like outside the circle.
Well, I think is that him on the stairs? Right, is that him sitting on the stairs at the top there? Like, is this him? Right here?
Up there. Yes, I think so.
I can't tell.
And then Kristen Cole is obviously bottom right, getting held back by two of the other Kingsguard.
Yeah,
and then Daemon.
So is that Rhaenys that's being surrounded by Corlys and their granddaughters? Is that Rhaenys right there?
Yes.
Because I thought that was for a second. I thought that was the king, but then
that's
Corlys. The king.
That's Corlys, Rhaenys, and the two children.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then you got what's his face right here by himself. Oddly enough, maybe that's foreshadowing that he's.
I'm not sure how he got there. He teleported.
No, he moved. Here, hold on. We can risk a little bit here.
So there he is standing between the two of them, like I thought.
Don't want to screw you up too bad here. This is her deciding what am I gonna do? I'm gonna stab a bitch.
Okay, so pause there.
Yeah.
So that's the Lord Commander to off of his shoulder, right?
No, that's somebody else.
It's definitely
right
a
here?
Kingsguard.
It's a Kingsguard, but it's not the Lord Commander. It's a Kingsguard, but it's not him.
Okay. I thought that's where he was standing.
Because he's not wearing a helmet.
I don't recall him removing his helmet at all.
He doesn't even have a helmet.
Yeah.
He did when he showed up with the kids. I can't remember this scene now. So, okay. It's so crazy. See?
So there is no helmet.
So who'd she grab the knife from? Was that
that's the king. That's the king's dagger. That's the Valyrian steel dagger.
Okay.
The same. So he grabbed the king first. Did he grab the king first there? Is that what he did? He's back there.
Yep.
Okay.
See, he teleported. I'm telling you.
Well, hold on. So there's Christian Cole. There's him. The king's on the floor back there. They're fighting. He
Yep.
was running up.
Okay. They gave enough establishing shots of him running. I'll give it to him. Yeah, I'll give it to him.
And there he is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
He had a suspiciously open path through the crowd, but I will give it to him. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and then yeah. So we got the.
Yep.
We
So
get
sorry.
we get this big moment, and I was just like, okay. I mean, I was like, okay. Like I said earlier, it's hard to believe that nobody went down for this.
Yeah, that's the it just was like a big nothing burger when it's all said and done. It's just like I feel like something
seriously,
should've-
like either do something. If you're gonna do something, it has to have consequences.
I agree.
If you don't have
Cole should be out.
consequences, then don't fucking do it. Seriously.
somebody should be, even if it makes no sense, somebody should be blamed for this.
That's what that was the strength of A Song of Ice and Fire, and George R. R. Martin himself has said it. Like everything that happens has consequences.
Even just
like
you know what,
series.
Pulling two random Kingsguards and go, you were assigned to watch the kids. What the frick? And just have them executed or something. Like somebody should be to blame here.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think that they would execute him. I think that he would get kicked out
or something.
I think
like some sort of reprimand. Like
give me the cloak. Yeah.
I mean, nobody got killed.
Come on, Pips. Let's go medieval. Let's
But you know what I'm saying. Just like even if you don't want it to be a main character.
Viserys is a pansy. He wouldn't do it.
I mean, like I said earlier, it's like he had no control of this. He had zero control of the situation whatsoever. And this would have been a great moment. This would have been a great final moment for him because next week, I think is going to be the week.
Was this the last episode next week?
I think he's going to die.
He's going to die. He's dying next week. We see in the trailer for next week.
What's episode 8?
Bed,
right?
And
that'll be 8, but there's 10 episodes.
There's
10 episodes.
So there's 3 more.
That's right. We talked about that. It started before, ended after Rings of Power. Yep.
Yeah. So episode 8 and then 9 and 10.
So
I think
the cojones on HBO for that scheduling.
Yeah.
Love it.
So next week 8 is going to be. So there's going to be another time jump. I don't know. I think it's going to be like maybe 5 years because like the actors
another
that play
5
the kids.
Years.
Yeah, the kids are the Aegon and Aemond are played by different actors now. So Aemond has the eye patch. He's taller than his brother, and then you have Aegon. Aegon's a totally different actor. I think he might even be shorter than the younger actor that was playing him now.
I gotta say, if they do another time jump, I'm gonna be. I mean, they are doing one. I'm disappointed by that. I think that they should have leapt 15 years and adjusted some of the timeline of events and things to make it happen. These time jumps are killing the flippin' show.
Yeah, the kids.
It's hard enough to remember all the names of the characters without you changing their damn actors all the time.
Yeah.
And especially just as you get to the point where like you see an interesting turn in a role by an actor, they're out.
Well, I gotta say, it's like no. In the moment, God, the oldest kid. What's his name? I'm sorry, the oldest Aegon. That moment where he basically stood up to his dad and said, "Everybody knows, Dad. Everybody knows." And his dad didn't know, and Viserys didn't know what to say. He's like, "Yeah, I said it because we all know it's true."
So that was actually
a good moment for him.
I'm gonna pull back my previous statement. I think actually now that I think about it more, you're right. I had given him a little more credit. He diffused the situation is kind of what I remembered. But now that I think more about it, lawyering 101, never ask a question that you don't know the answer to, and that the answer is not going to be beneficial to your case, right? Mm-hmm. And he screwed that up repeatedly. He did it last time with the hand, asking him like, well, why are you trying to resign? Like,
well, I mean, that was pretty much the last word said was, we all know they are bastards. Yep. And he just sort of walked away.
Yeah. Because he opened the door, the kid walked right through it, and huge miss. Too many witnesses. Like he should have, after the fight, he should have been like, everybody out, but you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he, again, don't ask a question you don't want the answer to,
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yep.
I guess actually that was before the fight though. Still, he should have kicked everybody out. He should have kicked everybody out,
Yeah.
So way too many people there.
Yeah. So now we're going to get more actors. We're going to get newer actors for these current kids. And then I think we're going to see more children because
there's going to be
spoiler alert, Damon and Rhaenyra have 2 children of their own.
Do they have 2? Okay, I
I
knew it had to be 1. Well, that was my comment when I first got here. The strong children are in peril. I would think. I would think now.
Yeah,
not just maybe not from Rhaenyra, but I would think that Damon is gonna.
Let's just say her kids with Damon, they're the ones that carry the line, the Targaryen line going forward. I'll say that. So
spoilers, man, come on.
I think it's pretty obvious, but
it kind of is. But yeah, but it's not the destination that counts. It's the journey, which is partially true. But still,
hey man, are you quoting Stormlight Archive, man?
No, I don't know what that is. Is that Brandon Sanderson?
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard the name before, so I need to read more fantasy. I'm a fantasy normie.
Finish Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time. Finish Wheel of Time. Go.
Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I have nothing left to talk about. So
yeah,
we pretty much got through the episode in a very different way. I hope you guys enjoy this. It's me just reading scene by scene.
I liked it. Chat, tell us your thoughts. Do you guys think the free form was good?
I like when you take notes because like obviously we don't miss anything. Yes. But I like the free form talking. You just sort of bring up a topic and we sort of go for it to the major points. So yeah. I enjoyed it.
Okay. All right, then I'll keep doing it like this. So you know what, always, always and try to improve yourself. So that's kind of what I was trying to do.
Yeah,
I'll do better to pay attention. That was on me with the whole Laenor. So that was on me.
Steve and I were just like, what happened?
Well, the funniest thing about that whole thing, not to interrupt you, but we pointed out to Salty. He's like, do we think he's dead? He's like, no, he's obviously not. Yeah. And then we had a 5-minute conversation about it. It's like, oh, I missed that. And then you're like, and then you come back in the back and you're like, what about Laenor? It's like, dude.
Yeah, I know. I've done this. I've done this before, and it's killed friendships or it's killed conversations with people. So yeah, that was completely.
I just thought it was hilarious.
So you guys giving me shit was totally deserved. So yeah, so I thank you for calling me out. So
no, I thought that was hilarious. I think the chat seemed like that was a highlight of the stream, honestly, because like funny. It's one of the things that happens when we're all having conversations. You're looking up book facts and stuff to kind of bring into the conversation. I'm looking up what the actress looks like when she's not wearing a Targaryen wig and sending it to Salty to tell him that he was into a they.
Well, I find it funny because it's like it's a small enough thing that obviously Salty obviously missed it. You missed it. But I could see why. I mean, the dude looks completely different. At first I was like, is that him? It's like, oh shit, it is.
But I just checked. After you guys said that, I looked on here and I checked it. Yeah, it was him. So yeah, you guys were sharp as usual. So that's why I like
I think on the banner. I think the only reason that like I was definitely able to recognize him because he did change a lot was because my initial expectation was that it was going to be Damon or somebody else to kill the dude what is it, Sir Quayle or whatever, right? Sir
Carl.
Yeah. Make sure no witnesses.
I thought like that dude's about to get killed, and then he pulls the thing down, and you're like,
well, because that's what I thought too. Because something happened in the source material. One of the someone, I think one of his guys that he spurns or he breaks up with for another dude gets pissed off and just kills him. It kills him somewhere. So that's what I thought was happening.
Well, I guess that's he's done. I would imagine that's the storyline. They're not gonna.
They're probably gonna. Well, they're gonna probably bring up. Oh, Laenor's dead. Laenor was found dead somewhere. It's gonna. Be I think a council. It's probably gonna be during a council. I think
meeting. his use in the plot is done at this point.
Yeah, I agree. And I just have to. Nosferatu says the fun stream is always take care, Steve. Steve with the guns and. Pips with the aerial knowledge, and I don't know what this god Poriel is. I guess that's me. I did do some lifting. So yeah.
Nice.
So what are your final thoughts, final grades on tonight's episode? guess we'll start with Pip since you were here first.
Well,
Sorry,
then I logged out and logged back in. I don't know.
The ghost got you. The ghost got you, man. Come on.
I'm going to stick. So I think I said before, like around a 7. I think I'll stick with a 7, right? Like I think that this was, you know what? I think I might be willing, just from like my kind of emotional response to it, watching it, I might have been willing to go higher. But after last episode, I think that I'm more pessimistic about the show than I think I was before. So I think my initial, like episode 1, I think I gave probably an inflated score, saying like an 8 is what I think I gave episode 1 when we did that review, because I was giving the show a chance, a little optimistic by some of the stuff we saw. At this point, a little more pessimistic. So 7.
Okay, 7. And I hear some rumbling. Is it Steve? Are you typing like a Galadriel's Tempest?
No, not today. Not yet. I think 7's fair. I think, but more importantly, it's a shift in the right direction after last episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last episode I felt was a huge blow, and I didn't think they were going to be able to recover, and I think they have, to a point.
The time jump.
The time jump is scary again, but
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I am a little bit hopeful for the time. Well, but see, every kid is going to be different. So as confused as we are with the sea snake children, the 2 girls, who we don't even know the name of the one. Who knows? Like, so we're not going to be able to figure out who they are. The 3 strong children, I don't even know their freaking names, so we're never going to be able to figure them out. And then you got the 2 Targaryen. Then we got the 2 Targaryen boys who I finally got used to their names and their faces, and now they're done. Aemon, we're going to know from his scar, and then there's going to be 2 new kids, maybe even more. It's going to be confusing, and these time jumps, they're making it hard on themselves. I agree with you. They should have just done a 15-year and been done with it.
Yeah, I agree. So.
But I mean, I guess the only problem with that is how do you gotta get Daemon and Rhaenyra, their kid, and so I guess that's why they're sort of in that corner, is they have to find a spot for them to get together and then have their kid.
I think that they could have done that with another time jump at the end of the season, right? So like next season, they could have another time jump with Daemon and Rhaenyra's kids. I don't know how far they're trying to go, and maybe that'll play out into it. But like, it's hard to imagine that they're going to do something super critical with a couple of 5-year-old kids or less that they couldn't have just kind of, hey, let's get a few more episodes of continuity on a timeline here and try and get a strong finish. I'm very concerned if episode 8 is going to have a time jump. That means, in my mind, that 8 and potentially 9 could be on rocky footing in terms of the affinity of the audience with the characters, and you don't want to go into your season finale with the just like understanding, affinity, and empathy for the characters and the cast. You don't want to have that be a questionable aspect of the show, right? So like they need to have these characters be built into something that you care about again.
It needs to be done. Last time jump done, and just this is where you go for the rest of the season and beyond. Just
that's what I'm hoping too.
Go. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, like they're like I think at some point Allison actually has grandkids. So I mean, it gets crazy with how big the families get.
So we're gonna keep getting time jumps.
I don't know.
If they bring grandchildren into it, they sort of have to.
Because there's a short story called The Princess and the Queen, and it's effed up. I'll just say this: it's effed up. Something happens to one of those grandkids. I say.
So, what do you guys think about this? I think that Viserys showed how much you could age an adult, right? Mm-hmm. And actually, the early actors and actresses for Rhaenyra and Alicent showed how much you could sort of de-age an adult, right? Because they're both like 25, 26, something like that, and we're playing 14-year-olds in episode 1, and like we all knew that they weren't 14, but it didn't like break your disbelief, right?
Mhm.
I really feel like they could have done this season with the same actresses.
Yeah, put some makeup on them. Put some makeup on them, and
I think that they could have kept the same actresses. I don't think it would have been as bad as the jarring changes have been. So to me, I think this I think that changing character or changing actors and actresses for little children, sure, but like these are meant to be your two main characters. Swapping main characters, actresses, like mid-season is always hard. I can't even think of another show that's tried this. Right?
I don't.
Like,
yeah, same here. I'm trying. Yeah,
so I have real doubts or concerns rather about how strongly we're going to be able to empathize with these characters at the end of the season here if they don't stop with the swaps and just give us something to kind of like, zero in on.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I agree.
Yeah. Good
yeah,
point.
This is a very good point. So, well, I agree. I hope that they find their final cast, and then we just
Yes, that's final cast. Let's do it.
let's just get there. Let's get to the war, and let's see everybody die, because
the adults are pretty much set, and let's get to the war. Yeah, the war in. Yeah.
So I'm about 6.5 out of 10. I mean, it was decent. It was better than last week. The time went by quicker. But like just the issues of lack of consequences, and just the ease of like them getting into the kids getting into that situation without any supervision or whatsoever.
All of the kids being awake in the middle of the night to go fight like street urchins is definitely one of the tribe things.
Well, and then like the first 15-20 minutes, the funeral I found extremely boring, personally, but.
Yeah, because it was just you were in universe hearing a ceremony that was just there for world building. It wasn't there to progress the story. We know what happened to Lena.
I just feel like it went. I feel like it just went way too long.
It did. It went way too long. We saw everybody, and we were just standing there listening to a funeral. I mean, it could have been. Do you guys think it could have been done off screen?
So it probably could have been done off screen. I didn't actually have a problem with seeing the funeral until the line that we've talked about before with Corliss undermining the. So within the same episode, we have the Valerians talking about the importance and the strength of blood. And then we have Corliss, the head of the Valerian house, talking about how blood doesn't matter. It's just a name. And that to me is what harmed my appreciation of honestly both of those two scenes. So in that context, they should have scrapped the funeral if they weren't going to have a through line of the importance of blood. They should have scrapped the funeral scene because it just reinforced the shift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see where you're getting at with that. So, yeah, just still, but yeah, 6.5 out of 10 from out of me. So there you go.
I think that's fair, definitely.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So now we're at the point where where you guys plug your channels. So Steve, I guess we'll start with you. What's going on in the what do you call your membership community? The Prophets,
Dragonsworn.
Dragonsworn. Okay, what's going on in the Dragonsworn?
Well, I actually have a new animation thing almost done, so that's in process.
When are you going to do a members only stream?
When I get some members, man.
Hey, I'm a member. I want to do a members only stream.
So me and you were just gonna chill and just be like, "Hey, bro, what's up, bro?" And just go like, "Hey, bro," and then Salty will pop and be like, "Hey, bro," and then Zach's will be like, "Hey, bro," and it'd just be like us talking to each other, which I guess is fine. But I mean,
what you're describing sounds like fun. I don't know.
Okay, so maybe I'll just do it. Fuck it. We'll see. It could just be depending on the time. It'll just be me sitting So yeah, become a member so I can have a member stream. But go become a Dragonsworn over on Prophet of the Dragon. So it could be a busy week. Hopefully, now I'm feeling better. Nosferatu, as he said, trying to get some Final Fantasy VII remake going for him. I know Easton has been pestering me a little bit because he wants to finish Wheel of Time, the video game. So we're going to find some time to do that. Hopefully this week. We'll see. I would like to. I'm going to try and pump out some videos this week. Try and see if I can get the algorithm in my favor. Get some subs going since I've sort of doing this wishy-washy thing. It's a little bit much, but hopefully can turn that up. And then we're doing the Rings of Power watch along thing. I know Sadakar asked about, I guess probably the House of the Dragon one, but I'm not sure if we're going to continue that with Salty at the end of the season. We'll see. But we're doing a Rings of Power one. Myself, this man over there. Hey, did it work? That man over there.
Stop poking me.
Sorry.
Hey,
sorry.
wait, ow.
Was it
that kind of
we
guy.
had Lady Balefire with us last week, and who else was it? Man, I'm having streamer brain. It was four of us.
Nathan,
of course, Nathan, the one who forced me into it. So if you're interested in suffering together, watching Rings of Power, join us for that. But yeah, maybe gonna get a Wheel of Time stream out there too, just talking about the books and all that good fantasy mumbo jumbo. Oh, I know Pips was probably gonna say New York Comic Con is supposed to have some doozies for Wheel of Time, so definitely check out me and them. White Cloaks will probably have better coverage of it. They're more thorough. But yeah, hopefully lots of stuff going on this week.
Well, you Pips.
Well, I was going to say that Steve was going to be on our channel to do New York Comic Con, but we're going to go head to head.
No, we'll just do it on both. I'm sure there's plenty of meat on that bone. We'll do it there, and then we'll do it there.
I kind of want to cover New York Comic Con too. Yeah,
nice. So we'll do something. It's October 7th is the drop for the Amazon stuff. So that's going to be Rings of Power, Wheel of Time, The Legend of Vox Machina is apparently getting another season. The Carnival Row, I think, is getting another season. They have a couple other shows that they're sort of making some announcements for. I don't expect anything crazy big to come out of it, to be honest. We talked a little bit about it on our stream yesterday. It was 3.5 hours long. So if you want to watch that, do like fast speed. And then we got the rewatch. So we got the rewatch. We recorded those today with Daniel, who's a frequent flyer on probably a lot of our streams. Mm-hmm. And then, so yeah, always getting people involved in those. And then let's see, this week is the week for the true, I think, best look we're going to have at Rings of Power ratings compared to House of the Dragon, compared to other shows. So last week was still the wrap up on the premiere week. So 2 episodes at once, kind of jukes the numbers. So this week, Friday, expect the Nielsen data to come out on White Cloaks, and you can check that out. We'll give you the just the facts on how the streaming numbers are coming in. And that's it. I'm going to be on with OBG70 tomorrow playing some Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. So I'll be on with Dane Bornhald and Lady Balefire. A couple other people as well. So
all right, cool. All right, so that leaves me. So what's going on with me? Plenty, actually. So first thing, I mean, this weekend I've been slacking on my editing my Planet of the Apes retrospective. So I need to get on that. I want to get that out this week. So be ready. That should be roughly about 50 minutes, hopefully 50 minutes to an hour long. So if you like the original Charlton Heston film, come by and watch it. That's one. And number two, I'm doing a serial horror chat with Purple Valkyrie on Tuesday afternoon. We're going to be talking about the 1958 Hammer horror Dracula, starring Christopher Lee, which I have not seen yet. I have not seen any Hammer horror, so this is going to be a first for me, and I can't wait to do a stream with Purple Valkyrie. So there's that. That's one. And then Thursday, I'm planning on doing a stream with Snowdub, and we're going to be talking about the recent Dahmer miniseries on Netflix that I just watched. Now, I do like real crime. I've had a strange fascination with serial killers, and Dahmer was one I did not know much about. So seeing the show, I enjoyed it, but there were some issues that I didn't want to talk about, and it got me thinking. It was one of the few shows I actually binged. It was way more enjoyable, despite there's a lot of lots of guys hanging out with other guys, because that's what Dahmer did. So there's a lot of that, but even that was more interesting than Rings of Power. Rings of Power is just
by far.
is like in the 10th level of hell.
I thought the Dahmer show was actually 50-50. Some of it was okay. It was entertaining enough that I watched the whole thing.
Oh, you watched it too? Okay, yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know you watched it. So
yeah, I did. I didn't like the angle they did on some of the stuff, but I mean, it was actually pretty entertaining and interesting. So
yeah, I agree. So I'm going to be talking to Snowdub about that show on Thursday, probably sometime in the evening. I haven't made up my time. I haven't made up my mind. And beyond that, well, sky's the limit. I'm asking around for, I'm asking to see who wants to do a serial horch. I know a week from Monday, Pips and me are going to be talking about Jaws, like we mentioned earlier, and that's going to be epic because Pips is a horse, and so I want to hear a horse's take on a great white shark. So
it's going to be it's going to be similar to when a fully grown 800-pound tuna comes onto shore and fights some lions. If you're a fan of the other guys, we're going to have some good terrestrial versus aquatic animal input. It's going to be happening, guys.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it on my end. So, but once again, I have memberships on YouTube, and I'm working on starting a Patreon account because I have ideas of videos. There's a lot of things I can't post to YouTube, so I'm going to probably post them. I'm probably going to re-edit some older videos that I did with my knowledge and my editing skills. Have gone from here to here now. Still an amateur, but I'm getting better. So hopefully bring in new content. So if you want to join the Nerdporial Continuum. And hopefully I'll probably start a membership stream on my end too. So, but yeah, so everybody,
you have more members than me, so me and Pip, it'd be more than me and Pip's just hanging out in my channel for my members.
I'm a member.
I'm a member too.
I'm a member.
And we have zero members.
That's true. We gotta get you there. Because
we're just a lowly scrub channel.
We're working on it. Don't say that. That's
White Cloaks. You guys are gonna be bigger than all of us.
Lady Balefire is going to be bigger than all of us.
Lady Balefire is definitely bigger than all of us. Yeah, I do agree with. So
I hope that she remembers that I was the one who pushed her to start a channel. So when she becomes a household name and is a millionaire off of monetization on YouTube, I hope she she appreciates her old friend Pips.
Yeah.
It's one of those that was funny. Like you said yesterday, I think she got a little tipsy enough that it was almost a hot tub stream. If it was on her channel, she might have got about 100 subs just from that. So
she did a little shimmy. Come watch the White Cloak stream. You can see Lady Balefire's shimmy.
Do a little shimmy.
Yeah, I was surprised. I looked at like how many subscribers she has. She went from I think she started her channel like a few weeks ago. She's already at over 100 subs. So yeah, like holy crap! So, wow.
But yeah.
I saw one of her
she's like
videos was like over 3K.
And,
it was over 2 to 3K views. I was like, holy crap! Wow.
Yeah, she did our video with Zach's, and that one has like 3,000 views on it, and that's where she picked up a lot of subs from that as well. But her channel's growing. It's good. She's hey, a smart girl who is talking sense, has some industry experience, stuff like that. Like she's gonna find a spot.
Well, it doesn't hurt that she's not hard on the eyes either, right? That too, on top of everything else.
I couldn't help but think of another person who said something about being.
I don't notice those types of things. So
Well, you can. Well, good
I'm-
man. You can still notice. You just don't
I'm
have to
contractually
pursue.
required to not comment on those things.
There you go.
Yeah.
She would
rightfully
sense
so.
the disturbance in the force.
We have all, yeah. There you go. All right, but yeah, gentlemen, thank you, Salty, if you're still listening. Thank you guys for making this panel, just making the conversation go by really quickly. It's been over 2 hours. It felt like nothing. So thank everyone in the chat: Nosferatu, Sadikar, Dempsey, whoever Pips is, and Prophet. I don't know these guys. And everybody else, Shane, and heck, I got visited by some people, some newcomers. X-Wing, I haven't seen X-Wing on my channel. Well, he's been on my channel before, but it's been not for a very long time. So X-Wing and Retro Gamer Yasuke and Leia Rose and a bunch of other people. I don't want to go through it, but thank you guys all for joining. And once again, may the wings of Nurporials carry you to next week's episode of House of the Dragon. Other than that, everybody, take care and have a good night.
All hail the Lord Dragon.
Pips.
I got it in. No. He's not going to say it.